In November 2025, I ran 72 miles in 24 hours to draw the world's biggest GPS drawing of a penis, raising over £10,000 for the men's health charity Movember. But my lord, it was hard. I had to go from unfit and overweight to the biggest challenge I had ever taken on. So to help you get fit, take on epic running challenges like this, and raise a shitload of money for charity, here are my 10 brutal lessons that I learned. Before we dive in, if you want to see the exact running plan I use to rebuild my fitness and prepare for challenges like this, you can download it via the link in the description below. Now, let's get into it. Lesson 1. 4 weeks into training, I still felt like crap. No lie, I thought something was wrong. I was running more, eating better, sleeping well, and I still felt like a sack of spanners. It wasn't until week 6 or 7 that things actually started to click. Runs got easier, recovery felt quicker, my body finally stopped sulking and started showing up. So the lesson is progress doesn't feel like progress at first. You don't feel better, you just feel less shit. But that's the turning point. So here's the tip, give yourself 6 to 8 weeks before you judge your fitness. If you stop after 4, you're never even going to let it work. So stay in the fight long enough to earn the upgrade. Lesson 2. 22 miles in, first checkpoint. I sit down for a quick break and my body just shuts down. My legs are gone, my back's tight, and all I can think of is, what the hell have I signed myself up for? I'm battered and I've still got 50 miles left to go. The next stretch is going to be 9 hours until the next checkpoint. Nothing but rough terrain and self-doubt. But when I hit that checkpoint 2, something flipped. It was over halfway. I'm near civilization. Now it felt like I was running home. And here's what I learned. The worst moment isn't near the end. It's early on, when the doubt is the loudest. Push through that and it just gets better. So don't quit in the dark. Shrink the mission. Next mile, next gel. Keep moving. Momentum will save you. Lesson 3. 72 miles sounds impossible. Even saying out loud feels ridiculous, but I didn't think about the 72 miles. I thought about energy gels. Every 45 minutes, I had one. That was the rhythm. Run, gel, repeat. Each one becoming a marker, a checkpoint in my head just to get to the next gel. Then do it again. It sounds stupid, but it works. It broke the monster down into bite-sized chunks that I could handle. And the lesson is big goals will crush you. Even if you look at the whole thing, shrink the mission down. Create tiny wins. Stack them until the finish line shows up. Don't run 72 miles, run 45 minutes over and over again. Lesson 4. At some point, when your legs hurt, your feet are shredded, and you've been out there for God knows how many hours, your brain starts screaming at you to stop. And mine did, repeatedly. So I distracted it. I did complicated maths. Work out your average pace, sort of work out how many miles you've got left to the next checkpoint, and then try and work out how much time you've got until you get to the next checkpoint. That's what got me through the darker stretches. Not motivation, not grit, just good old-fashioned distraction. The lesson is you don't need to fight every negative thought, you just need to outsmart it. Keep your brain busy and you won't have time to beg for mercy. Pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's actually negotiable. Lesson 5. Before every long run, I carb loaded like a man possessed. Pasta, rice, oats, you name it, I inhaled it. And on the day of the challenge, it was an energy gel every 45 minutes with the odd flapjack chucked in. At each checkpoint, 2 bacon and egg rolls and a coffee every time. It worked. Energy stayed solid. No crashes, no gut issues, just steady fuel all the way. And that wasn't luck, that was rehearsed. Every long running training was a test for the food, and by the time the big day came, I knew exactly what worked. The lesson is game day isn't a time to experiment. Test your fuel strategy in training. Dial it in early and stick to it when it counts to avoid any messy disasters. Lesson 6. There were stretches of that run where I was completely isolated, middle of nowhere, pitch black, no signal. And if I'd rolled an ankle or got lost, that literally could have been it. Luckily, I had support crew. My mum and dad met me at checkpoints with food and a coffee. Mates jumped in to run sections with me and kept me safe and kept me sane. Especially during the night, having someone there when it's dark, when it's rough, that's not just helpful, it's essential. The lesson is don't try to be a hero. Challenges like this aren't solo missions. You need people for safety, support, and to drag you through the low points. Build your crew, trust them, and don't be afraid to lean on them when it gets grim. Lesson 7. Planning the route was a nightmare. You can't just draw a giant penis through the countryside and expect the trails to play nice. I ran into closed paths and on training runs, private land, overgrown trails, proper stitch-ups. So I used Strava's heat maps to build the final route. If people run along these paths regularly, they grow red hot. You can see then the well-trodden paths. This gives you confidence that they're actually available to run. I also recce'd as much as I could, not all of it, but enough to feel confident. And it all paid off. On the day, no dead ends, no detours, and no disaster. The lesson: Planning matters more than you think. One closed gate could kill the challenge. Use your tools, recce the sketchy bits. Don't just hope for the best. Plan it like it could all go wrong, and it probably won't. Lesson 8. Let's be real, no one gives a toss about a random bloke running 72 miles. Unless he's drawing a giant cock and balls across the countryside while doing it. And that's what got people to stop scrolling. That's what made them click, read, share, donate. Not my pace, not my distance, the novelty. It gave them something to talk about. And once I had their attention, then I could tell them why I was doing it. I knew I wasn't going to be the fastest, I wasn't breaking any speed records, but I was doing something that no one else had ever done. That was the goal, not to beat someone else's time, but to do something so ridiculous it couldn't be ignored. The world's biggest GPS cock and balls. No one else had that on their CV. And because it was the first, it got noticed. Media picked it up, donations rolled in, all because it was original, easy to understand, and impossible to forget. The lesson: if you want to get noticed, you have to be different, you have to be weird, you have to be unforgettable. You don't need to be the best, you just need to be a story that's worth sharing. Lesson 9. Most of us, we've got jobs, families, life dragging us down in all directions, so when it comes to training, you've got to be smart. Not just committed, but efficient. I wasn't smashing out 100-mile weeks, I didn't have the time, but every session had purpose. Some days were for speed, some were for distance, some days were just for showing up tired and training anyway. It wasn't perfect, but it was sustainable. And that's the only reason I made it to the start line without getting injured or burnt out. The lesson: it's not about training the most, it's about training the right way, consistently, intentionally, and around real life. And if you want to see the exact running plan that I used to go from broken and overweight to running 72 stupid miles, you can click the link in the description below. Thanks for watching.